Welcome back to the Alvarez Project, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Today's guest, full intro this time, not a half read. This is a full intro. So today's guest is an industry professional of almost a decade. Currently serves as a studio director at the SiriusXM studio here in Las Vegas. He is the producer for hit shows like It Is What It Is and Come Talk with Flea. And he's also the host of the best sports betting vibe on the internet, Veterans Minimum. Nick, how you doing? I'm so glad to have you on the show.
I can tell by the smile, you son of a bitch. Can we curse on here?
Yeah, I don't
all
care.
Right, cool, yeah. It's good to see you. It's been a while since I've seen you.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
So I'm happy for all your success. I appreciate the intro, and I'm looking forward to this, man. Anytime I don't got to go on a show and talk about sports,
yeah,
I enjoy it a lot more.
So the Chargers this weekend, how do you feel about... No,
listen, the Chargers...
We just got to see what Madison Beer's doing this week. If she's doing some outlandish stuff, it's probably not going to be good for us.
Hey, great girl.
Great girl.
Great girl. We just leave it at that. Great girl. I've always been a Justin Herbert fan. I don't know what to make of him. I do like that new tight end that came out of nowhere. Gadsden.
The rookie.
Yeah, from Syracuse. He's been balling. If you're looking at it from like fantasy production, he's like the top tight end in fantasy since he really started. Right. The last 3 weeks. But yeah, it's I've always been a fan of the Chargers. I love Justin Herbert. They're really, really good.
All right, well, now that we've lost the entire audience base for this show, let's get into the actual show today. So I want to talk about you and your career doing what we do, serving as a producer, working as a studio director, being a content creator. How did it all start for you?
So growing up in New York, I grew up in Queens, Astoria to be exact, my hometown, born and raised there. One of my good friends growing up was and still is, he's a YouTube creator, podcaster as well, Joe Santagato. He hosts The Basement Yard, and we were just really, really close growing up, and I was always the sports dude in my friend group. Any sport, especially when it came into betting, like I would have my high school teachers be like, bro, 6.5 tonight.
What's the parlay look like for this weekend?
Yeah, 6. You like 6.5 tonight? And I'd be
like in high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like my teachers, my shouts to Coach Brosnan. It's past the statutes of limitations. So
yeah. We won't out
It's
anybody.
good to discuss now. But like, even my high school football coach, we would always bond over that. So I was always a sports dude. I was always the sports betting guy. And around 2014, my buddy Joe was like, yo, I'm thinking of starting a sports show. I think you'd be great for it. Football, basketball, soccer. At the time, I was like really big into hockey because I went to school in Buffalo, and Buffalo's a huge hockey town. And a lot of my close friends are big into hockey. And one of my best friends at the time played hockey too. So I was big into the Rangers. I still follow them, but as you get older, it's like you got to, whether from a content standpoint or just life in general, it's like your priorities kind of shift. And when I used to follow like 10 different things, now it's like 4.
But you follow them way more intently.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you see like with the content space, you see where it's going. But just to go back, Joe was like, yo, let's start this show. I think you'd be great for it. And we started Veterans Minimum, myself with 3 other people. And then Joe was the host. And one thing led to another, bro. I just loved it right away. Just loved yapping about sports and the betting. The audience kind of gravitated to me with the betting. I came out the gates on fire. George, no exaggeration, bro. I know George is in here. George also co-hosts with me on my show. He's been great since he's joined. But I picked like 70% that year. So like first impression, lasting impression.
Of your bet, 70% hit?
Yeah. That first year. Mind you, we were picking 3 games.
Sure.
But still
70%.
I went like 33-12. It was something outrageous. I've never got close to it again. We're talking about 10 years now.
Right.
So one thing led to another. And then from there, from Veterans Minimum, the origins of Veterans Minimum, to this day, I can't figure out who came up with the name.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we have no idea who came up with the name.
Because I'm sure you get a lot of people that are like, oh, this is like a veterans podcast all the time, right?
So many people are like, yo, my brother was a Marine and all that. I'm like, first of all, thank you for your service.
Wrong show.
Totally wrong show. Then why is it Veterans? So Veterans Minimum in the sports world, when an athlete is at the tail end of their career and say they are 36, 38 years old every league of the 4 major sports in the United States, they have a clause called the veterans minimum. You might not be as good as you once were, but they can't be like, yo, Austin, we're going to only pay you $200K. No, the veterans minimum in the NBA, last I checked a couple of years ago, was like $3 million. So as long as you're on the roster, if you sign for the veterans minimum, there's a league minimum that they could pay you. They can't lowball you. So as long as you're on the roster,
industry standard rate.
Exactly. Okay. Correct. You know, even though you shouldn't be worth that, but it's just what the league provides. And I just never wanted to be pigeonholed as just a football guy.
Sure.
Even though football is like the primary thing, right? I always loved UFC. I love soccer. I love the NBA. It's pretty much it.
Right.
Veterans minimum allowed me to talk about everything. So, you know, there'll be something like, yo, is Ohtani the best baseball player ever? Because every time I see a stat about him, it's like first guy since black and white television to do this, this, and that. You're like, what the fuck? So that's the way we would talk about other sports. And then, of course, when we talk about betting, there's always betting standpoints. There's always betting angles, betting scandals as well. Whether it's baseball, hockey, cricket, like the list goes on and on of corruption in sports from that standpoint too. So that's how we all started with Veterans Minimum. And then about a year into it, I started another show. Because remember, in the beginning, it wasn't a sports betting show.
It was just a sports show.
Veterans Minimum was just New York City sports talk with guys from New York City, and everyone had their own space that they dominated in, right? So my one friend Tim was like big into baseball. He knew baseball really well. My friend Nick, we call him Boss because there's 4 Nick Dais in our friend group. He would be really good at everything. I was really good at everything. Joe was just really good at hosting and directing because we had never done that before. Right. If you listen to some of my first couple episodes, the fact now that I'm doing what I'm doing is outrageous. I
think I can be for the 3 of us in this room. If you listen to like some OG stuff that we did, yeah.
Dude, I think that's for anyone doing anything. Like I think of like, you know, I love training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The first time I ever rolled to now, it's like, I can't believe it. So now when I see
that guy.
Now when I see people come into the class, I'm like, yo, I was once there.
I'm still going to put the paint on you because you're a trial guy. But
yeah, you have to. You have to. It's a good test, right? Because like everyone laughs at me when I'm like, yo, I'm the trial belt slayer. But if you think about it, if you were ever to get into a scuffle on the street, it's going to be a trial guy. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, they just see red though.
So you should be able to maintain and control yourself. So like I'm getting good reps when I pull the trial guy over and take him into deep waters.
It's like what Coach Jerry talking about his can I defend myself in prison rolls when he rolls with dudes like 3 times his size.
Yeah. So like, you know, there's always a lot of truth behind jokes. Right?
Sure.
So there's always something good to remember. So back to Veterans Minimum. I know I've been taking you on a roller coaster, but controlled chaos. I'll bring it back to where we were talking about. I started another show called D-Generation Bets. Big wrestling fan, D-Generation X, Degenerate Bets, bang, it was perfect. Started doing that, and then that was gaining more and more steam. Then a year after that, I was big into wrestling. We started a wrestling show. So I was doing 3 shows a week, 6 episodes, and I was driving from Long Island to Astoria, filming at my buddy Joe's apartment.
How long of a drive is that?
It's about 45 minutes.
With New York traffic or?
With New York traffic, you're talking about an hour and a half, but I would always leave so early
to
that I
beat
never,
Okay.
Yeah, but
so you're doing 6 shows a week.
Yeah.
Or 6 episodes a week, I should say, but
6
3
episodes
shows
a week, yeah. And it was just talking about my different interests, and I was able to keep one out of the other.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're able to kind of keep them separate in their own lanes.
Correct. Yeah, because I never wanted it to be an issue where it's like, well, you're saving your takes for this show. It's like, no, it's different things, right? It's different things. And then, you know, obviously sometimes in conversation things would come up. Like we would always do our betting segment at the end of Veterans Minimum. And then that went on until about 2019, bro. 2019. And then one thing led to another. I was not at the best place in my life from like 2018 to 2019. I was going to go be a police officer. I had to stop doing content if I did. And all I ever wanted to do was be a cop. Definitely not be a cop. All I ever wanted to do was be a content creator, man. From the first like couple of weeks I was doing the show, like it was really cool when like someone would hit me up and be like, yo, I listened to your pick. I bet it and I won. I was getting the same satisfaction as I would if I made the bet and won. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like that. And then, people went their own ways. I wasn't the best person to work with during those times because I was being pulled in so many different directions. And the age-old saying of you don't know how good, you can't really tell if it's a good or bad situation when it happens until years later. Mm-hmm. I end up taking over the show, bought a couple people out when I had no money. I had to pay certain people.
Right, for their stake of the show.
Yeah, for their stake of the show. And I was just like, yo, let me just go for it. See what happens. I'll never forget, I always give him credit. If you guys ever see me tag this dude, Ty Harris, I didn't know him. One of my best friends, Dylan, was a coworker with him. And Dylan called him one day and was like, man, one of my boys, he's really passionate about this thing. And, I believe in him. I think he's really good. He cares about it. It's all he fucking talks about. But, like, the guys left the show and he's taking it over and he's kind of unsure about himself and if he should do it. And are people going to like him because it's him, or did people like him because he was Joe's co-host? There was always that dynamic because Joe was already so far ahead of us. He probably had like 500,000 followers at the time. Like, he was very established with the content he was creating. So I was just having those conversations that I'm sure you've had, I'm sure George has had, I'm sure everyone has had that. And I remember he called me, man, and I'll never forget it because that really saved. We don't meet if it's not for that call. I really believe that because like I was just going through it and he called me. He's like, yo, this is Ty, man.
Who, you and him or?
Yeah. Okay. Ty called me. He got my number from Dylan and he was just like, yo, bro, let me tell you, because he's a little older than me and I call him a big bro and I hate using that term, but like, he's like a real mentor, not one that I have to pay for.
Yeah, none of these ones you're doing Navy SEAL camps with.
Yeah. You're not gonna see me. You're not gonna see me holding a sledgehammer out on the beach and yelling and screaming like a real mentor. I didn't have to pay for.
I'm a man now.
Yeah, and I just remember, bro. He called me and he was like, "Yo, bro, listen. I know you don't know me, but we have a mutual friend that we both love and care about. He talks you up like no one else." He's like, yo, I'm 35 now. This is what he told me. At the time, he was 35 or 34. But I just remember him being like, because I was 28 at the time.
So you were my age now. Yeah. Okay.
I remember him being like, yo, bro, all I'm going to tell you is this. Fuck them dudes. They could go to hell. If you want this shit, go after it because you're going to regret it when you're 35. And I think about that now because I'm going to be 35 in March.
Yeah, you're coming up on 35 and you're like, I would have regretted it if I didn't do it.
Bro, I don't want to get dark. Probably would have blew my brains out because I was not happy with anything else going on in my life at that time.
Right.
And like the only thing I had was this show and I just kept believing in it. And like one thing would lead to another. You get a guest that you never thought you would have on. Yeah. And then you get a sponsor out of nowhere, right? And that gets you excited. You're like, oh shit, $400.
I made it, Mom.
Yeah.
You can't tell me it's not shit anymore.
Dude, for like 3 years, I was getting sponsored to go to like sporting events. And in my head, I was like, all right, I'm not making no money, but I'm saving $400 to go to a game. Like, this shit is sick. What?
Yeah. It's a little validating too. You're like, I'm getting brought out there.
Exactly. And for as much as you don't want validation or pats on the back, they're important. They're very important. It gives you that like PED boost to keep going. And then, I end up signing with Blue Wire. I don't know if you want to ask any questions. I just gave you a whole lot.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, absolutely. So, because we've both been in the place of being, I mean, George included at one time, George and I were running a network. But before that, we were a part of another network with our old show, Lukewarm Cinema Podcast. And it came to a point where when I met Travis, he was like, is this network actively doing anything for you? And I was like, no, we're paying them. But then they're cross-promoting us on everybody. And he's like, why are you doing that? Like, you can do that for free. What about being under the network, at least with Blue Wire at the time, was really enticing for you?
For me, it was enticing because it brought credibility because they were established already.
So getting picked up by a network showed that, like, what you're doing is actually working and it's somebody else believing in you. Because you had somebody believing in you at the beginning, but now you've got a whole entity behind you, right?
Yes, and also it was cool to have someone believing you that doesn't know you.
Sure, that's not like a George or a Nick or a me or something. It's somebody, a total outside perspective.
Yeah, because who am I to shut someone's dreams down, right? That's always been my thing. Now, if I'm ever, I'm overly transparent and it gets me in a lot of trouble because I always pride myself on people know where they stand with me at all times. Like they just.
Yeah. Well, we had a situation where, and I won't name names, we had somebody kind of back talk George and I to you, and you're like, I'm going to tell them, right? Like you straight up just told them, like, I'm going to tell them.
I do not fuck with that at all.
Yeah.
At all. Like that is a major, I think that's pussy. I think that's so whack about your character. I think that says a lot about my character too. If
I
you're
would
my
agree.
friend and you're just getting bad mouth and I'm just over there like,
yeah.
So when that happened, I was just like, hey man, I'm going to tell them. And I'm letting you know that I'm going to tell them. So if they come back and say, yo, I heard you say XYZ.
I'm telling you where the source is.
I'm the source.
I'm the source.
So I got no problem with that.
I would say is the one thing I tell people anytime I recommend people to you is I go, Nick will tell you how it is. He's a great person. He's a great creative. But if you want extreme honesty, you like, even if you ask for not extreme honesty, it's still what you're going to get. And I would say it's such a hard quality to find in people.
I don't know if it's a New York thing because a lot of my friends are like this.
Yeah.
We're very like, yo, what the fuck are you wearing, bro?
Yeah.
You know? They're like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What's with the haircut?
You've done that to me. You've called me on it. You're like, why'd you post this? And I'm like, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah. And now let me ask you a question. Would you prefer not to hear that?
In hindsight, no, I absolutely would, because it's like your friend, like George. I feel like once you have friends that are, and this is maybe it is a New York thing, but like George and I will straight up be like, hey, I got other friends like Franny who will straight up tell me, he'll be like, hey, don't do that, or keep doing that, or like, hey, he won't sugarcoat it. Sure, it doesn't feel good in the moment because you're being like reprimanded kind of, but I would absolutely say I'd prefer that 10 out of 10 times.
Without a doubt. And I think I'm never overly aggressive initially until I really get to know someone. Now,
sure,
using George as an example, I can't lie to George. I'd tell him like, yo, I didn't like this, I didn't like that. Or hey man, we kind of slacked on this. But I also want him to tell me also.
Sure. It's a two-way street.
I need it that way.
Yeah.
That's how I know I could trust you. That's how I know that you have my best interests in mind too. And for me, like, if I'm cool with you, first of all, I'm going to make fun of you. That's
sure.
how I always tell people, like, yo, if I'm cutting your ass and picking on you, like, I got your back.
Yeah, or if if Nick invents moves on you and shit, that's, you're in good standing.
Yeah, in jiu-jitsu, I'll be doing dumb shit sometimes, but like, nah.
The Cracker Lock 5000.
Yeah, the Cracker Lock 3000 and the Cracker Sweep 2500. But dude, on a serious note, man, like I don't fuck with that. I don't like the whole, Austin, this XYZ. And
sure.
then Austin's not there to defend himself. Because, they would never say that when you're there.
Of course.
Right? So to me, I'm like, nah, if you're my people, I'm going to defend you when you're not around.
So how has that helped you with having clients or working with shows and hosts and stuff like that? Or maybe hindered you?
Well, I think for me, the thing that has helped me the most is I don't know how to not be myself. I know it sounds really simple. It could also sound corny and I wouldn't push back on it. But I just think Cam'ron said something really profound one time and I always thought about it. Like, I always felt this way, but have you ever had someone explain something and you're like, that's how I could put it into words? But you always felt that way. So like he would always say, he's like, yo, why lie? You have to remember the lie.
Yeah.
So now you got to always remember the fake story that you made up to cover up a lie.
Yeah.
And I never was able to put it in words. And like, to me, it's always been like, yo, it's so taxing and so annoying. Now I got to remember that I told, this girl that I couldn't hang out because I went to train. But then if she asked me like, oh, when's the last time you trained? I'm like, oh, I haven't trained in 2 months. She'll be like,
wait a minute, what was last night?
How come you bailed on my friend's birthday? You didn't come train. And it's like, oh, fuck, I had to remember that I made up this fake story. So that's what I mean, where like sometimes someone says something so profound and you don't think of how to put it to words. Like they're wordsmen, right? Mase and Cam, they're fucking iconic rappers. So their wordplay is outrageous. So when they combine things and compound words, it's so interesting. But I always felt that way. So like for me, I always think of it as like, it's too like draining to have to remember it. So for me, it's just like, hey man, I didn't like how you was switching yesterday. We got to be better. Or, yo, I don't like that you're showing up to record the podcast in sweatpants, sandals, and a football jersey. Like,
right.
I want to project a certain look.
Now, the thing is, though, is you don't just talk the talk, you walk the walk, though, at the same time. I would like to think you lead by example. And it's kind of like, if I can do it, you can do it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I mean, for sure. I tell people there's not a redeeming quality you should want from me outside of hard work. Like, there's no, everything I've learned how to do. I've come to you. I've come to George. I've come to a lot of people. I also think another great quality that I do have is I'm not afraid to admit that I don't know something.
Yeah, that's a powerful one to own up to and just be like, hey, I don't know.
I hate to ever be exposed as a fraud in any way. To be like, yeah, I know how to do that. And then when I'm thrown into the fire, I can't deliver. And you're like, yo, you told me you knew how to do that. Why would you lie about it? For me, I'd rather be like, and there's been scenarios where Mase will ask me something, Cam'ron will ask me for something. Anyone in the space.
Right.
Because now obviously my brand has elevated being attached to the shows that I'm attached to, which we'll get to in a little bit. But what happens is, like, sometimes people might come and ask me something and I'll be like, yo, give me the weekend. I'll have an answer for you Monday. And I'll take the weekend. And, I don't really have anything to like study for.
Sure.
Sometimes I miss it in a weird way, even though I hated school. Like, I did just enough to not get slapped by my mom was how I would describe myself in school.
Because I hated school unless it was something I was interested in. Because then it's like, now I have it. Like, I don't want to have to go home and research something I don't care about.
Right.
But when it's like running a business or learning how to be a better producer or like how to build up a studio or, how to get this edit done, it's like, okay, well, I have a genuine interest in it. I have no problem researching it now. Is that safe to say?
No, absolutely. Yeah. And I couldn't agree with you more, because when you actually care about something, it's hard for it not to be successful or you not to be interested in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it sounds so simple that it sounds corny, but it's also true.
So you just got kind of under the Blue Wire umbrella. You're still in New York at the time, correct?
So I'm still in New York. I signed with Blue Wire in 2019. And then shortly after, the pandemic hits.
Right.
And the pandemic, for me as a content creator, was the best thing to ever happen. My personal life, it sucked because we had just gotten this food truck. My father and I put $25,000 of my own money that I saved up. Mind you, I'm making $400 a week when I'm working with my dad. So to save up $25K on top of all the degenerate shit I was doing anyway.
Yeah.
My dad was like, yo, whatever you want to do with your money, cool. But I'm going to tap in with you. Starting from this day, you need to have the ability to show me X amount of dollars. So his thing was like half and half. Half the money needs to be for the food truck. Half of it you want to blow it on, on beers and bitches and fucking gambling.
Who cares?
No problem. But you need that other half. I need to see it.
Okay.
So I save all this money for the food truck. I get $25,000 from my grandma from her will, which my grandma, she's a fucking animal. She's 79 years old. Fucking could be a marathon runner if she wants to. Like, she's super active. And she's like, yo, what are you going to do with this money when I pass away in 20 years? You need this shit now. So I get that. We get the food truck. It's ready to go. Bam, pandemic hits. We end up losing the food truck because we couldn't do no financing on the payments.
Right.
And it was just such a nightmare. So, like, personally, awful. Creatively, best thing ever. And I'm just a hustler. Like, Blue Wire needed a producer for a project. Yo, I'm in. They needed a stats guy. Yo, I'm in. They needed this. They needed that. I never would say no. I wouldn't get paid for most of this shit either.
Yeah.
But I was just like, yo, let me build this resume. Let me get better. Let me learn how to do some shit. I think a big problem people have, they want a quick return on things. Look at you, for example. We had this conversation once. I'm not going to mention no names, where I told you to come and film something for us. And I was like, yo, don't charge them.
Yeah.
And you're like, yo, for sure. I was like, yeah, it's worth it not to charge. I guarantee you it's going to open up doors for you later down the road.
I don't think it was not. You were like, don't charge as much as you know. Like, cut them a deal.
Cut them a deal.
I did.
Oh, yes.
And then
thank you for correcting me.
I just worked with them like a week ago.
Yeah. Thank you for correcting me. That's exactly what it was. Because, I want you to get paid. Sure. Now I remember it. It happened so long ago, but I remember being like, yo, don't charge them your normal rate.
Yeah.
Take some off. And I promise you'll be like, because they need someone.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's my biggest issue, bro, with people nowadays in general, but especially in the content space, like, hey man, we're looking for someone to do cut clips. Yo, I want this much right away, right off the bat. Okay, cool. Pass them along. Nah.
Yeah.
Let me see, like, the person we work with now, they did clips for free for 6 months.
Yeah.
Just to get our attention, just to show us what they were doing. And now we've hired them.
Oh, like on their own, they were just doing clips and be like, yo, check this out.
Yo, check this out. This is my work. This is dope. Or, hey, man, I just started doing this. What do you guys think? Oh, yeah, we fuck with it. Here, y'all could take it. Y'all could do what you want with it. Just tag us. Give us the credit.
Yeah.
You want to get tagged and get the producer credit, or do you want to get paid? You're not going to get both. That's our rule. Cam'ron rule. It's like, yo, if you make a beat for me and I rap on it, I'll pay you for the beat, but I'm not going to tag you that you made the beat. Or I'll tag you and I'm not going to pay you for it.
But now you're associated with me, you might get tenfold in business.
Now you
That's
might
an
get,
interesting way of going about it. Okay.
but again, it's for the right people.
Sure.
Dom, who does the clips for Veterans Minimum, he started as an intern, graduated college, now works production for the New York Giants through
Right.
Veterans Minimum. But again, the credibility that I was telling you about that Blue Wire brought to the table was it was easier to get guests, easier to get sponsors, easier to build out a network and a show.
Yeah.
So, excuse me, I'm so sorry about the coughing, bro. I think that fucking green matcha whooped my ass, dude. That shit was just got a dry mouth. Pause.
Oh, I didn't know what that meant until you started working with them.
Nowadays, you can't say certain things, so you just say pause to replace it.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
we'll leave it open for interpretation.
Yeah,
Let people
whatever
figure
you
it
want
out.
it to mean, it means that.
So, doing more and more for Blue Wire, I get connected with The Win and Will Blackman on a show called Upsets and Underdogs.
Which the Win is a casino resort here in Las Vegas.
And they had an online sports book that they were running. And this was going to be the professional bettor with the pro athlete. It was a really cool show and concept, and it was doing well.
Yeah.
And
So like a Skip and Shannon type show where you have like, you know, the retired NFL player with the sports analyst kind of thing, but it's the sports bettor.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, kind of. That's a really good comp. I never thought about that. But
Okay.
yeah, and then start talking to Jeremiah. Start talking to the guys in the studio. I came out to the studio a couple times on my own accord, my own money, and one thing led to another, man, and that's how they were like, "Yo, we need you out here," and I was like, "Brother, send location."
Brother, send locate. Okay, so they basically reached out to you to help with what? What did you first start doing when you came out here? Was it engineering? Was it producing? Was it editing?
Bro, when I first came out here, let me tell you a good story. 2 weeks before I move out here, I have a meeting with Jeremiah and this dude Jordan, who was running the studio at the time. And I get in touch with one of the kids that was working at the studio. And he's telling me all the equipment that they use. And I was like, yeah, I'm familiar. Not familiar at all. I didn't know shit. I didn't know how to do anything. Bro, when I was filming in New York, I had 2 iPhones. I fucking would clap into the mic to get the audio
To sync
spikes.
sound, yeah.
To sync
to
sounds.
just make sure you were rolling. Yep.
Yeah, to make sure I was rolling to get audio from my Zoom recorder to match the cameras.
To be fair, I do the same thing now.
Yeah.
Even though I can do it the correct way.
Right. So I did that, and I had this meeting with them, and prior to the meeting, I knew I had a meeting for a couple of days. I started watching YouTube videos on how to operate all this shit. I am not bullshitting you now.
No, I know. I remember hearing the story. Yeah, the first time.
I am not. This is 100% facts. Black Magic Switcher, Pro Tools, Studio One, all the shit.
Yeah, we went into the deep end because like I had a nice gradual step to the Black Magic board.
Nah, crossfaders, cutting, program, I knew all that shit. So then when I have the call with them, I'm telling them like, yeah, crossfade.
I just imagine Nick's throwing out a term. They're like, yeah, how do you feel about fader?
Yeah,
and they're like, this is our guy.
Yeah,
this is our guy.
The cut button. I also know myself.
Sure.
I know I'm very self-aware. Like I told you before, if I don't know something, I'll say it. But I'm also a quick visual learner.
Right.
You've experienced that.
Yeah.
Like, yo, bring your laptop over. I'll show you what you're doing.
And then he doesn't ask me for 6 more months. And he's got it.
I don't ask you again. Yeah.
Nope.
So I need to like, yo, show me. I'll come back the next day. Yo, show me again. The third day, I'll be like, yo, tell me when I fuck up.
Yeah.
I didn't fuck up. All right, I got it. That's always how I've been. So then when I come into the studio the first time, they're giving me the tour of everything. Brian, who at the time, he wasn't on any of these calls. He's showing me the board. I go, yeah, preview program, the cut. He's like, oh, you know about it. I'm like, yeah, industry standard. Bro, I was talking so far out of my ass, it was crazy. Now it's easier to say because now it's like there's nothing I don't know how to do.
Right.
And my role has expanded. I could do audio, I could do video, could set up the lights, could direct, produce, edit, all that shit. Kind of faked the funk until I got out here.
Yeah.
And then that's when I got out here in September of 2022.
Okay. So, so you've only been in Vegas for
little over 3 years.
Yeah, a little over 3 years at this point. So immediately you're thrown into a studio setting. You're still doing veterans minimum though.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how is that dynamic working?
I will never not do veterans minimum.
Right. Even if it's just from your bedroom again.
I will always do veterans minimum. Luckily, I found a really good co-host out here.
He's a cool guy, I've heard. But
No, it's been great. I think more people like him than they like me on the show at some points.
But I would argue the same thing on my show. On my Tuesday night show, they call in and they're like, hey, George. And I'm like, granted, he is an official co-host of the show, so it makes sense. But
Right.
At a point, it's like, in the sports world, it makes sense. But in like the paranormal world, it's like, George does help with production and stuff like that, but he's not out here like doing his own ghost hunts. He's just like, I'll be pressing the 1s and 2s and be looking good.
Nah, it's great though, man. It's great. Nah, he's been a tremendous fine,
person. Yeah,
a great resource. As have you been. Like we were talking about him being silly before. You've helped me out with a shit ton of stuff. Phone calls at like 2 a.m. I've called you and all that, and you've just been like, yo, you'll have an answer for me right away, and if not, you'll get back to me, which I always appreciated.
Yep.
But with veterans minimum, I use that as the practice field. Like, to use a sports analogy, like that's the training room. There, if me and George ever want to try some dumb shit, like, yo, let's just try it on the show, and if it don't work, yo, you have this crazy lower third, like, fuck it, you want to try Barrett? Let's see. If it don't work, who's gonna say anything to us? It's our show.
Right, as opposed to trying it on a client show and then they're like, hey, I'm paying you to do this and I don't like it.
I don't like it. What the fuck? Who gave you the right to do this shit? Mm-hmm. Right? So it's like, yo, bro, George, you got an idea? Yeah, yo, let's try this. All right, bet, let's do it. We don't like it? Okay. Lower thirds?
That's a good way to go about it. Yeah.
So I'll always do veterans minimum because I need to be able to be putting out fresh content, new content, being able to stay as a host, establish a name for myself there, playing my role on that show. And also I love it, bro.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. If I only do things I genuinely love to do.
Yeah, I would say, and you've got it down to a solid 3 to 4 things, and
bro,
life's pretty simple, ain't it? Pretty good going.
When I tell you, one of my best friends, Eleni, her dad and my dad are friends from Greece. So like, she's like my she's like my little sister.
Right. Lifelong friend.
Yeah. I know her since like fucking diapers, and she now lives in Arizona, and we've kind of gotten closer ever since then. Was at her wedding and all that shit. But I remember one time before she was leaving Arizona, before I was going to leave for Vegas, like it wasn't even in the cards for me to leave for Vegas yet. She was leaving for Arizona. And I remember we were grabbing lunch and she's just like, yo, bro, you only do like 5 things. And I was like, yeah. She's like, that's so fucking cool. She's like, I don't mean that in a bad way. I was like, no, I didn't take it in a bad way.
I just do what I want to do and that's it.
I play my Xbox. I make my content. I shoot content. Jiu-jitsu.
Roll around on the floor.
And I'm a massive sports and betting fan. That's it. That's my life. And I am
it's very much so like the guy who lives out in the cabin in the woods is like, I just hunt and fish and then just live my life. And it's like, God, that's the secret, ain't it? It's just find a few things as opposed to me where I'm doing 900 things and I'm like, I got to stay busy.
Yeah. And I'm so happy and blessed that I'm in a position now where it's like, yo, if I don't want to do something, I don't got to do it. Like, obviously you have your certain priorities.
Right. But it's a freedom that's untouchable.
Yeah. No, that's a real thing, man. And it's like, I don't really want to do it. I don't want to.
Yeah. So at Blue Wire, how long was it before you kind of met Cam and Mase, before they or even before maybe you were even on their radar?
I met them in June of 2023. I met
Okay.
Cam'ron first,
Okay.
all by accident.
Like, was it at the studio or was it?
Yeah, it was at
Okay.
the studio. I had no prior engagements or relationships with them outside of being fans of their music. And they started It Is What It Is earlier that year. And shout out to Larry. Always going to give Larry his flowers. He's a local in Vegas. And he was telling Cam'ron, yo, come out here for Summer League, which is always in the middle of July. Come out here. They got this kick-ass studio at the Wynn. We've had a bunch of former NBA players over there too. So
Right.
he's like, yo, you know, All the Smoke has been in there. Gil's Arena's been in there. Like, they got all these athletes and celebrities that come and they record in there. Like, yo, come and check it out. I'm pretty sure they rent it. I go into the studio and it's my favorite story ever. I've told this story so many times, but I go into the studio on a day I was not supposed to be in at that time. It was probably like 1 p.m., 2 p.m. on like a Tuesday. Supposed to be there at 7.
You're in a whole shift early.
And what's cool about the studio is like sometimes, like even today, for example, I'm not supposed to be there till 6.
Right.
I'll probably get there in the next hour and kind of just chill. You know what I mean?
Right.
So for me, I just like going there early. But that day, I vividly remember I went food shopping and I was too lazy to cook. And I was like, yo, you know what? I'll just go eat at the Wynn. So when I get to the studio at the Wynn, there's a gentleman in the actual studio recording area.
Right.
He has his back to me. He's on the phone. I walk in, I'm like, think nothing of it. I go in, I drop my bag off in the back, and Brian is in there with Larry. Brian is like, what the fuck are you doing here this early? Because Brian obviously knows when I'm supposed to be in the studio.
Yeah.
And I just told him what I told you. Yo, too lazy to cook, yada, yada. So I just turned to Larry, and I shake his hand. I go, yo, what up, man? Nick, nice to meet you. He's like, oh, Larry. As we're shaking hands, Cam turns around in the studio on the phone, just turns. I just go, yo, is that fucking Cam'ron?
Right.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Larry goes, yo, you know Cam'ron? I'm like, fuck yeah, I do. I'm from New York.
Can you not hear the?
I was like, bro,
because they're from New York too, right?
Yeah. I'm like, well, Larry's not from New York.
No, but Cam and Mase are.
Yeah, bro, iconic rappers from New York.
Right.
I'm just like, fuck yeah, I know who Cam'ron is. I was like, bro, Dipset and all that. I was like, yeah. I'm like, yo, what do you do here? I'm like, yo, kind of do a little bit of a lot. Yada, yada. I was like, yo, I would love to meet him, bro. He's like, dude, you killer gotta meet you. Like, we're in the little control. You've been to the studio, the control area. And then Cam hangs up the phone. We go into the studio. I meet Cam and I'm just like, hey, man, big fan of your craft and I love what you're doing. What it is. Because at the time they had a video of them talking about John Morant in like the strip club. And he's like, yo, you stripper bitches always be dancing on dudes that got 9mm and guns on them anyway, but now you snitching on John Morant because he wore 200 M's and like that video went viral.
Right.
And I was telling him about that. And then I was like, yo, what are y'all doing here? Larry tells me what they're doing here. And then Cam was just asking a bunch of questions and I was just answering them. And I'm not on no fanboy shit, nothing like.
No, but like just, as a
but it was
fan,
cool. Like
like,
anytime I meet someone that I'm a fan of, I was like, hey man, love your craft.
Yeah.
Big fan of your craft or I admire what you do. Things like that. And then I
feel like it goes a long way than just be like, oh my God, I love you.
Yeah. And then, just letting it be. And I was like, yo, if there's anything you need, like, we're available to rent, I'll connect you with who you need to connect with at the time. We exchanged numbers. He follows me on Instagram. He asked me about my show because we were showing him like the different backgrounds that you could change it to. I'm like, yo, look, like that's my show right now. You send us your logo, etc. And then finished jiu-jitsu the next day and he just calls me. And he goes, yo, what are you doing? And I'm like, yo, I just finished training. He's like, yo, meet me at this spot. And it was like
deep east side.
Yeah, like by the Palms kind of.
Oh, so like right over here.
Well, from where I'm living.
Yeah.
And like where jiu-jitsu was. I just finished training. Gotta worry about fucking staph infections and shit.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I could be there in like an hour and a half. I want to go home and shower.
Yeah, you got to be presentable, yeah.
And he just goes, bro, don't miss an opportunity. And that's like his go-to line. It's like, oh, fuck. So I just take some fucking baby wipes.
Good old.
Good old New York City public school shower. Throw some fucking Axe spray. And I go and I meet him, and he just continued to just start talking and shit. And then, again, no talks about producing or none of that. Like, yo, I think we're going to come out here to film some shows for Summer League. I'm like, yo, dope, bro. Any way I could help, set up shit?
Yeah.
They come, they do 2 shows with Paul Pierce. It was an amazing night. Vibes were awesome. Actually, the only photo I have with them is from that night to this day.
Yeah, I feel like it's a different thing. Like, I work with big clients, and I don't have routine photos with them. It's just like, I have your phone number. Like, what do I need a photo with you for?
I've gone out my way to ask for 2 people for photos, Mase and Cam and Mike Tyson.
I would be a little scared to ask him Mike, but
and like, yo, I've taken pictures with people, but it's like after you've been on my show. Brandon Marshall.
That's different though. That's almost promo material.
Exactly.
At that point. Yeah.
I'm like, yo, anytime I see them, I'm like, yo, if I get them on the show, I'll take my photo there. My little pose in front of the desk and the set. And so we filmed that around Summer League. A couple weeks go by, they signed their first deal with Underdog.
Yep.
I remember I text Cam something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something along the lines of like, yo, as a content creator myself, this is super inspiring. Hats off, great work. And like some dumb shit like, yo, next time you're in Vegas, though, beers are on you. Okay. And he kind of just like ha-ha'd the text.
Right.
2 weeks go by after, and he's like, yo, Mase and I are thinking about moving out to Vegas to do the show. I was like, cool, man. Again, cool, man. Anything you need, anything you want to know, like, I'll probably be working your show as like an engineer and shit.
Yeah, I'll be around.
I'll be around. Like I'll almost definitely be around. Like, let me know. Bro, 4 days before they came out here, he goes, yo, you know how to edit? I go, yeah. He goes, all right, bet. I need ABC done. Can you do it? I go, yeah, I could do that. He's like, bro, don't fuck with me. This is like a big project. I was like, yeah, bro, listen, I do Drive to Win for the Win. I do this other show. I also do my show, which, we were talking, I don't know if we did it during the show or in between breaks, where you were like, yo, I think it's important if you want to be a producer, you should be doing your own content. Yeah,
I just recorded a video on the channel for somebody asked me in the comments, they were like, what do I need to be a producer? And the first thing I said was, I think you need to host a show in some capacity.
You need to host a show so that you could do things like what I'm doing right now, talking directly into the camera. Mic placement is perfect. If I know I'm out of frame, I could just tell when I'm out of frame. Now you can't hear me as well as you can now. So it's little things like that. So then when talent comes and you're working with them,
you lead by example. You go, hey, I need you to be this close to the mic. Also, don't look at the camera unless you want to send a message to the audience or something. Unless that's your thing. Unless you want to ignore your fucking guests and just be like, yeah, so Nick, how'd you get here?
Right, yeah. And look, there's some shows, like even what it is, a lot of times they're talking to one another, but then there's some times where like Mase and Cam directly talking to the camera as I'm doing now. So there's little things like that. So it definitely helps. It's helped me greatly being behind the camera and in front of the camera. Like behind the camera has helped me in front, and then also in front of the camera has helped me behind the scenes too. Yeah, I don't know if you feel that way.
Absolutely, 100%.
So Cam is just like, yo, look, I need this done. I need that done. Can you do it? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you got a price? I'm like, yo, is this cool? He's like, all right, bet. The rest is history, as they say. Dude, I mean like that. Just, yo, this good? Yeah. Yo, I need this.
That's good?
Is this good? Like
that's literally my relationship with one of my marketing and social media clients. Like today, I was telling you about a big thing we had happen nearby this venue, and they go, hey, we need a post for this. And I go, how is this? And they're like, perfect. I'm like, all right, I'll post it. Cool. And I prefer those relationships over, I get it if things need to be tweaked legitimately. Like, hey, can we just change this or this? But like ones where they're just nitpicking for the sake of being in control. But I think that's always a good relationship to have with a client. It's like a sometimes unfounded God tier level of like communication where it's like, I know that they know I'm not going to screw them over and I'm going to give them good work.
Man, if I could give anyone advice, just get shit done.
Perfect is good, but done is better.
The top priority is making sure the full episode is airing when it's supposed to be airing. From there, we could go back and like, yo, I need this clipped.
Yeah.
They give me the green light. They give me a lot of freedom, and I'm super grateful for that. I've been with them now for about 2 years and some, and through the time, you earn more people's trust, more people's respect.
Yeah.
So there's times on the show where literally as we're recording, they'll be like, yo, clip that shit, Nick. We're going to want that.
Yeah.
And that's not edited out the episode. That's in there. That's in the middle of dialogue and conversation. There'll be times when they finish recording where they're like, yo, that one part about Cam Scattaboo.
Yeah.
Need that.
Right.
I make sure I get that clip. But outside of that, it's like the funny stuff, good analytics. That's pretty much the whole show. But they give me a lot of freedom on top of a lot of responsibilities. But the main thing is just get shit done. Laptop has crashed. Internet has went out. I've gone home at 1 a.m. I'm uploading, and with 5 minutes to go, my internet just goes out. I drive back to the Wynn to finish the upload.
I remember there was a time where you came to our old studio because we had fiber, and you're like, this episode has to be out in 20 minutes. And we're like, we can get it uploaded in like 10. And you just show up and you're sitting at the desk with George and I, where we would work every day, and you're sitting there just uploading. Like, I would say that of all people to say, just get it done, you are the embodiment of like, if you have to go, even with betting, I remember you told me you drove to the Arizona border to just put in a bet for like a different app or something. And I was like, Nick is just about that life.
No, not drove. Constant drives.
Oh,
I go there often. I went there with George. We shot a vlog.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Like we go like, I'll hit up George. I'll be like, yo, I got a $500 boost deposit on DraftKings. You want to take the road trip?
But I can't do it in Nevada. So
I can't do it in Arizona. So I go to Arizona. Yeah. But my whole life, I got my work ethic from my dad. My dad is he has a coffee truck in New York City. It's the reason why I got this tattoo.
Where is that? Let him know.
49th Street and Park Avenue. He's been there for 31 years on the same corner. Wow. Spider-Man is from Queens, not this new hipster Brooklyn Spider-Man. The OG Spider-Man, Peter Parker, is from Queens.
He's from Queens.
All right. So I learned all the shit that I'm doing now, how to be a man, the value of a dollar, work ethic, through my pops. Self-employed. Oh, my stomach hurts. We're leaving in 5 minutes, bro.
I would say I've taken that on more now that I'm my own boss, where I'm like, the other day I was like, I'm sick. Fuck, this is going to suck, but I'm still going. Like, it's going to feel awful, but it has to get like, there's nobody.
Listen, bro, everybody handles a tummy ache, a headache differently. A lot of my reactions off the record is like, you got a paper cut and you can't come into work, or you know, your nose is running and you can't get into work. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I grew up, and again, I think context is very important with almost everything. And I think a lot of people nowadays don't have context. You'll just read a headline and you'll be like, fuck that person.
Yep, that's the whole story. I'm not even going to click on it and read it. Yep.
And you don't know nothing about them or about what they said, right? Like a lot of clickbaity. And listen, we fall for it too. I'm sure we've made thumbnails and titles that,
I don't know what you're talking about, Nick. I don't try to garner views.
Yeah, me neither. I've never done that either. But context is really important. Like the way I grew up, I was making $400 a week. I'm waking up at 2:30 in the morning. I get home at 11:30, 12. I take a nap, then I go lift. I go do my jujitsu. Then I would go and film, and then I'd go to bed at like midnight. Wake up again at 2:30 in the morning. I was doing that for 6 years. Holidays, birthdays, everything, bro. Oh, it's Labor Day. We're working, dude.
Yeah, I mean, like I take like the big ones off. Like I try to be like,
we don't work. Listen, we don't work on Thanksgiving. However, there was a couple Black Fridays where my dad and I would leave Thanksgiving early, and we'd park our cart outside of Best Buy where my old high school used to be, and we'd sell fucking eggs and coffees, and we make like $4,000 or $5,000 in a couple hours.
That's genius.
And we're like, yeah, because you know the manager at Best Buy was a former alumni of my high school. He was on the football team, so it was like, yo, bro, no one's gonna say nothing to you. I run this whole shit.
Yeah, he's like, come set up here. And you're like,
set up there, and easy. Bam, and we would make a killing. And we would leave the crib at like 5 p.m.
to set up for the next morning. Yeah,
to set up at like 9 o'clock at night and go through till noon the next day.
Yeah.
So like, to me, when people are like, Have you ever met anyone where they're like, "Oh, it's my birthday," and they just shut down for the whole week?
What? Yeah, I remember somebody like this year. Somebody was like, "What are you doing for your birthday?" And I'm like, "Well, not this year. This year was a little sadder. My grandma passed on my birthday."
I'm sorry to hear that.
But like, other than that, though, I had every intention of being like, "All right, I'm gonna just." I have shit that has to get done. Like at this point, I remember my mom asked if I could go like help with something, and I was like, I would, but like there's literally nobody. There's like, okay, I worked at a loan center 10 years ago. I have other employees. Okay, hey guys, I gotta go do this thing. Somebody can fill in. There's nobody filling in. Thankfully, I got people like George who like, when my second son was born, George was like, no, I got you. And it was like, okay, I can spend some time with my family. But immediately, like as soon as 2 weeks were up, I was like, all right, I'm back. I'm here. What are we doing? I try to take it, it's different with having a family and kids. So I try to take the time off now, but I get it. Like, yeah. Birthday week? No, bro, it's Monday.
Bro, like it's so frustrating to me, man. And then, there's the other side of me that's kind of a dick, and I'm just like, well, then you can't complain that you're not doing well.
Yeah.
When you're asking for a holiday and you're asking for birthday and a personal day because you don't feel well, like, bro,
that used to be me, but that was me when I worked under somebody else, and I just didn't care
because you had an out.
Yeah,
you had an out because. It's not really mine. When you do something for yourself and you have equity in something, or you have stake in something, both the same, it's the same term, but man, when it's yours, it's so much harder to give up. It's so much more difficult for you to give an excuse. At least for me, I'm just talking about Nick Dais and what I've experienced and what's helped me. And like I said, bro, my dad, rain, sleet, snow, -4 degrees. We're out there, 100 degrees and humidity. We're out there flipping eggs and shit. So like, I don't have sympathy for people like that.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
All they do is just try to find it out, as opposed to, I get it. Like, okay, hey, it's like even my clients thankfully have been understanding like, hey, my child is in the ER. I'm not going to be there.
Bro, listen,
but
that's
different. I know.
Of course, those are different scenarios.
But that's like when I take the time.
If you have a life-altering thing or like a child is born or, like, I get it. Understandable. I'm talking about the person that just wakes up and they're like, oh, I don't feel like working today. Why? Why? Because you're not having a good day? Like, newsflash, bro, not everyone does.
Most people are not having a good day.
You think every time I've gone to go record or be at the studio, I'm fucking star spangled fucking awesome? No.
Huh?
But you got to be able to lock in. Records go on, bam, we're good. There have been times we finished recording with George, I'm like, yo, I can't believe I got through that. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah. Just didn't have it today. He's like, yo, I never would have guessed. I'm like, I like that compliment. Because you're not supposed to let other people know. You got to fucking deal with it, move on, and press.
Yeah. So kind of rounding out, one final question before I get to the last question for you. What is it like working with so many big names and celebrities on such a constant, regular basis? Because I work with them somewhat frequently. Like I have a couple that come in and out. And it was definitely, when they first start coming in, you have to kind of like check yourself. But now that you're around it all the time, what is it like? And especially producing such a massive show like you do.
That's a great question. I struggle bringing some friends around sometimes when they come to Vegas.
I get that because I have people now that like, I had somebody that we know that was like, hey, can you give me so-and-so's number? I'm like, oh, they changed their number. I don't have it.
Oh, no, I never give out someone's information.
I never do without permission either.
Yeah.
But like, they were like, they had them on their show before and I was like, I don't. But like, I get that though. Like I have people that I'm like, I'm never going to bring you around this person because I know you can't hang.
Yeah. No, it's, I've kind of gotten immune to it just because I'm around them so often. Could probably think about like 3-4 people I would nerd out and go crazy over if they were to like come into the studio. Maybe like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, I was going to say Stone Cold immediately. The amount of times you quote him a week.
Yeah, Eli Manning, a Joey Diaz comedian. Who else? Drake, probably my favorite artist ever. I'd probably be like, yo, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, I also think of it like growing up, I loved 50 Cent. And like I went to go pick him up from the VIP at the Wynn by myself with his entourage. and I was able to keep my composure there.
Yeah.
You kind of get immune to it. But they
I would
say this also. If you ever get a chance to interact with someone famous or of status, man, if you don't fanboy out, it goes such a long way.
It does, because then they're like, oh, we're people now. I'm not an elevated platform to you. Can I ask, because I have my own, but can I ask, what's the like moment you've been sitting there and you're like, holy shit, I'm here with this person right now. Like you had to like almost pinch yourself. I'll let you go first and then I'll do mine.
Can I give you two answers?
Sure.
All right. One, as a content creator, when I had Stephen A. Smith on the show.
I would argue that's
like the biggest.
You're sitting in the desk and you're like, what am I doing right now? I'm interviewing Stephen A. Smith.
Yo, crazy story about that. He came into the studio in December, and I had shot my shot at him like, hey man, I do a show. I would love to have you on for 5 minutes. And he goes, two things. What's your show about? And I can't right now because I don't have the time, but I'll be back for the Super Bowl. I was like, all right, cool. My show is a sports betting show. I need to talk to my people and my sponsors to make sure it don't interfere. I was like, it's just a sports betting show to describe it, but I'm not going to ask you about sports betting. Hell, I'm not going to ask you about current events. And he's like, all right, I'll check back with you in February. This is December.
Going back to transparency, though, on both sides, he was straight up with you. Hey, I might not be able to, but I'll let you know.
Fast forward, it's the Monday before the Super Bowl. He's sitting at the desk. I'm filming after him. And I go and I put my laptop down and he goes, you still want those 5 minutes? And I go, fuck yeah, I do. I wasn't prepared for that. I just knew I was not going to ask him about anything that has to do with sports. I'm pretty stubborn.
Right.
George knows this. I might read some things to gather stats and data. And
right.
Like, especially in betting, like trends are really popular. Like, yo, this team off a bye week covers 70%. They're playing another team that just played on Monday. They're like 37%. Like, oh shit, maybe we should take the team off the bye.
Yeah, but
week.
you're not going to be a stat maniac.
We even have there's a pick segment on the show that we do. They're all like funny names, but one of them is called Trust Me.
Yeah, the Trust Me. That's my favorite one.
Trust Me it's also mine too. It's on fucking fire the last 2 years. But it's been like the flagship pick for the show. Yeah. And that one is basically like the stubborn pick. Like,
yeah, I'm just like, bro, just listen to me, just do it.
Yo, just trust me, bro. Don't listen to fucking Billy Walters, who's the greatest better ever.
And then you see I love the meme, and I'll send them to you too, where I'm like, the meme is like, my friend put his mortgage down on the Giants, and they're down 3 touchdowns. You just see him just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, that's the trust me bet, though.
The trust me is basically like, yo, no one's gonna convince me off this. I don't care who you are and how long you've been doing this. And it's cool that it's been like successful. It's like 24-6-1, which is fucking outrageous. But I just knew with Stephen A, I was not gonna talk to him about sports. And we started the show and I just asked him about, yo, what's the difference between working for Disney and now you're independent on YouTube? Advice for a young creator, and he gave me a dope compliment. He's like, man, you're ahead of me at your age than I was.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I was doing local newspapers and all that shit. You know how to cut and edit and all that. And he's like, I know you're Cam'ron's guy. You handle all their stuff, and it's one of the best shows right now in the sports space and on YouTube. He's like, man, you're ahead of where I am. And he's like, yo, your future is bright as long as you keep doing this shit. And then, I asked him about his mom, where my life goal is to retire my parents, and I'm so close to it. Yeah. Now they're at the point where like they don't believe that I could do it.
Right.
So they're kind of like, let me just knock this year out. And I'm like, yo, just do it now, bro. Look, you know how much I'm making, and I'm doing really well. I position myself to be able to do really, really well.
Well, you just said you're in a position now where if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it.
Yeah. So Stephen A, from a content standpoint, was easily number one.
Yeah.
But meeting, it had to be 50 Cent.
Yeah.
50 Cent. Like, dude, I was sitting with his manager in there and we were just like filming, and I was just like, hey, bro. And again, to bring this back to what I was telling you before about treating them regular and kind of reading the room, there's a really important story too. I'm sitting with his manager, and I'm taking my notes, and I just go, hey, bro, I need a fucking picture with him. Just like that. He's like, yo, Nick. He's like, 100%, bro. Like, no problem. Are you kidding me? I was like, bro, I grew up in New York, Queens to be exact. My grandma lives in Jamaica till this day. He's like, bet, no problem. So we go in when the show wraps with him and Cam, and him and Cam were just vibing. And I take the picture of them, and they're like high-fiving each other, and they're talking about their chains, and 50 Cent at the time was doing a live show. And I was just like, I don't want to be that guy to just be like, yo, let me grab a picture.
Yeah.
And I kind of just read the room. And I'm so happy that I did. I think that meant a lot to them and to me personally. I was just like, I handled that like a professional. And then just being attached to the Cam'ron brand, I just feel like I'm going to run into him again.
Yeah.
So I always had that in my mind too.
Those are like mine. I feel like won't top that. So I have a few. One of them is the one that I always talk about. And that was Kevin Jonas Sr., the dad of the Jonas Brothers. I was his producer for about 6 months. And
can I stop you real quick?
Yeah.
It shouldn't need to top it, bro.
No, I'm just saying like it's already like crazy. I'm not trying to like have a one up here. I'm just saying.
No, but I'm saying like, yo, for you, it might be some random fucking paranormal guy that no one's ever heard of. But for you, he's like,
right. Yeah. It's
so
a different world, man.
I never, I don't buy into the imposter syndrome, and comparison is the thief of joy.
I agree.
I just think it's like, yeah, I just didn't like that you said the one up. I had to
okay. Well, to bring mine to the table.
There we go. That's better.
Bring mine to the table. So one was Kevin Jonas Sr., but more specifically was when we were filming him and his son Nick at the mansions at MGM. The funny story with that is it's a light crew. It's myself and my friend Franny, and he came in clutch. He was just helping with everything. So we were running two cameras. And it's in the mansions at MGM. So already it's beautiful. Nick comes in, he's super nice. Every time you can watch it back, every time he tells a joke, he's looking up, he's looking at me to see like if the joke lands. And I'm not going to not laugh when Nick Jonas is telling a joke and I'm like in his place. So that was where I had to sit there and I was like, am I really doing this right now? And then the second one would be kind of like Stone Cold was when I was Brandon Moreno's producer and he brought Rey Mysterio in. That one was crazy. And I was like, this dude's tiny, but I know for a fact he can kill me. But he was super nice. He was super chill. But that was a crazy one where I wasn't even engineering. It was my show. I was just kind of watching the engineer do it. And I was like, I had to tell her, I was like, it's fucking Rey Mysterio. And she was like, yeah, I know. Like in Studio A, like at Sticky Bot, like that's where like I record my show. I think you recorded a couple of times. George would do his show. Like, what world are we in right now?
Oh, bro. And you know what else too, man? Like I love the friends that I have and the people I keep in my life, because last summer I went to Colombia and I was there for like 2.5 weeks. Yeah. Shout out to Medellin.
Shout out to Google Translate too.
Shout out to Google Translate. Shout out to WhatsApp. Sponsor to BOY. You know what I'm saying? So I was down there and I just take a picture of me with a pina colada on the beach and I go, it's so good to relax, right? Mind you, all my buddies back home, like my best friends, union, laborers.
Yeah, hardworking guys, yeah.
Real work.
Which, yeah, I've been there too. I used to work in utilities way back when, so I get like that.
So I go, yo, it's so nice to relax. My friend Danny goes, yeah, relax, huh? It must be so taxing sitting in a $6 million studio listening to Cam'ron and Mase every day. And I go, you know what? I got to know my crowd. I can't be saying
you literally
that.
did one of the... I'm going to go and put my phone down over here now.
I can't say that to a dude that's drilling fucking holes into the middle of the planet.
Working hard 12 hours a day, yeah.
Now look, what I do is hard. What we do is hard. There's an artistry to it.
Yeah.
I like to describe myself as a content creator and an artist. However,
it's pretty fucking cool what we get to do.
And it's not hard. Like
it's not
when I
hard.
think of work, I think of like physical labor.
Yeah.
Taxing.
When I used to,
hanging all fucking 40-story buildings.
You would never catch
together
me.
Shit.
Never.
You know what I'm saying? Like to me, that's taxing. Being on your feet all day, like
driving a garbage truck and throwing shit into a truck all day is taxing.
I edit in my boxers at the crib. Anything you do with your boxers on, it ain't work, bro.
Sometimes I got to make sure the AC's at like the right temp. Be like, it's too cold. I can't work right now.
So chilly.
Yeah, so chilly. Let me get my coat. And it's like July, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So I do get that. But one last thing, what would you tell to somebody who's looking up at this show right now to be where you and I are? What would you tell them right now?
You know, I always find these hilarious because I dropped out of college and
I'm still finishing my degree and I don't even need it.
I just find it funny whenever I'm asked questions like this, and then I think of like I've spoke at UNLV 5 times.
Yeah,
just crazy. I think my advice is, all right. So here, my advice is simple. If you're willing to do something that you really fucking love to do and it's all you think about, and you're willing to chase it with the expectation that 1, it might not work, and 2, you might not get compensated for it, maybe ever.
Yeah. Or very undervalued.
Or very undervalued. We could add that in there. Man, if you're just willing to dedicate almost 10 years to it, if it ain't meant for you to be successful in it, then it just wasn't meant for you. Like, bro, I've been doing this for 10 years, and in the last 18 months, people are like, yo, your shit is popping.
They don't see the almost 10. I would argue for the George and myself, too. It's like George and I have been doing, I would argue George and I started around the same time doing podcasts, editing and all that, probably a little bit after when you started, but it's like you don't see the years of work leading up to these last 18 months.
And yeah, absolutely. And yo, you can't be a one-trick pony.
I would agree with that too.
If I just was stubborn, which I am, and I was just like, nah, I'm going to just be a host.
Yeah.
None of this would be possible. You got to learn how to edit. You got to learn how to produce. You got to become such a valuable commodity that, bro, I wear like 12 different hats.
Yeah.
And I get taken care of greatly.
Yeah.
But like, you got to know your role for every position that you're playing. And for one team, I'm the star. I'm the main event. For another team, I'm the 6th man off the bench. For another team, I get no credit, no shout out. You got to know.
You're the equipment manager.
You got to know the role that you're playing. So that's my best advice. If you're just willing to fucking dedicate everything you have, time, money, energy, resources into whatever it is that you're into, it's like, to use a betting term, it's like a heavy favorite that it's going to be successful for you.
Yeah.
But I mean like undeniable fucking, you're going to miss birthday parties. You're going to miss christenings. You're going to miss weddings. You're going to miss baby showers. You're going to have to cancel on dates. You're going to have to do a lot of shit.
You might have to move in with your parents and sacrifice that for a couple of years. I mean, I did that.
Yeah. So that would be my advice if someone's listening, or if someone is in, you know, I was 24 when I started. So if someone's in their 20s, you know, that would be my advice.
That was probably one of the most insightful answers I could have wished for or even thought of for that question. I want to say thank you a ton, Nick, because when I started this show up, which it's still in its infancy, but there was a core group of people. I was like, I know I for sure need to have them. And you were 100% in that core group of people. When I reached out to you, you were like, yes, absolutely. Especially when I told you the premise, and I get it. Cause like I go on shows to talk about paranormal things. I go on shows to talk about like, oh yeah, what's it like, you know, being a musician, but I almost hardly ever get asked to go on and talk about what we do in this room behind the camera, which is arguably sometimes the most fun aspect of it. So thank you again a ton for coming on. Where can people find you if they haven't already copied it down? What do you got going on coming up here?
Man, I got a lot of things. My social media is at Nick Dais 10 is where you can find me. Veterans Minimum is the name of my show. At Veterans Minimum is where you can find that. I'm a part of the You're Welcome Network, Cam'ron's network. You can find Veterans Minimum on there. I run social media for that. I'm the executive producer of Talk with Flea. I'm the producer for It Is What It Is. I'm a great center forward in FIFA Pro Clubs. That's where you can find me, man.
Pretty good at running routes too, like throwing for running routes.
Somebody wants to run routes at the park? I throw a professional NFL combine 20-yard out. I'm gonna have to prove it one of these days. So get the cameras rolling. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Appreciate it. Well, thank you again so much for coming on the show, Nick. definitely go follow Nick if you aren't already. He is super cool with what he does. He's got a lot going on. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely check out our Substack down below. It's something I'm taking a lot of pride in. You'll get updates straight to your email with all of our new episodes and everything like that. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.